Okay, as of this morning, I have to change my follower goal before I do anything else. I don't know how to set the new one. Maybe 150? What's appropriate here? Turn the volume off on my phone. That's what I need to do. And then better add the old eloquent robot to the stream. Not that he's actually doing anything right now. In fact, I wonder if the bot account even needs to be present in the channel, or if I can just do it all programmatically. That'd be better. Manage goals. Goal achieved, 101 followers. Goal save. Start new goal. Start new goal. Goal amount. I don't know, 150. Seriously? 150? Okay, there we go. Now then, we need to get back into this. So we've already proven that we can get the token. However, there's a method that we can use to work around Twitch's bug. So let's look at that. I reported it here and they said, yeah, we know. But there's a workaround. We can implement the token response trait for a custom struct that matches Twitch's response. And we already know what Twitch's response is. It's this thing. Oh, except that that's not mine. I didn't post my actual token because I may be a noob, but I'm not much of a noob. All right, so what we need is a struct that matches it. And I think I already had a partial one in OIDC mod. Yeah, this thing. So how close is this? Let's check it. Not close at all. That's for the OECD response. What we want is Twitch token response. You know what? Let's just uncomment this, comment this, and let's see where we get to. Because if we can finish this, then we might submit an example for them to add to the repo. That'd be our way of giving back a little bit. Yeah, you're right. I do need deserialize. You're absolutely right. This is correct. It is known. Now, okay. What we need is access token. Expires in. That is going to be in I-32 probably. What would be the maximum amount? It's the range of in fact, it's probably the U32, right? Since there's no way it could be negative. ID token. nonce, scope. Now that's the only one I don't know how to specify yet. Would it be just, I think that's going to cut it. And token type. And that's probably an enum, right? So let's look at Twitch's OIDC docs. And see what the response format is. That's the configuration. There it is. For information about the claims that your tokens include by default, validating the ID token, doesn't really say. I mean, I guess, I can't even remember if Rust has string enums. Yep. Okay, just integers or string macros, strum macros. Okay, so probably not. What about a static string? Struct with static or constant string value Rust. Built-in type cow. What? An enum that can represent either a reference or an owned value. No, that's not what we want. Time for ChatGPT to summarize this for us. A potential struct definition needs a string value which will not change. What Rust convention can we use to express this? Okay, but can you initialize it at build time? I guess maybe you don't need to. I mean, it's just going to get populated by the. Maybe I just call it a string and have done with it, right? Let's see how that goes. So this is such a basic question, but which type should be used for structs which must accept a JSON array via SID? A vec_t. All right. Okay. So does that cover everything? Token type, scope, refresh token, nonce. Explains and what's the range of a U32? Quite large. um, uh, and the OIDC RFC what's the range of a n expires in field? Okay. All right. Let's just use U32 until someone tells us not to. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Twitch. Smooth. Yeah. Hey, baby. Note that scope is non-compliant with the RFC, so we implement token response trait on this custom type to handle the difference. See, okay. Don't think we need that anymore. Now we need to implement it. So Twitch token response. And then I need to look it up. So, all right. Yeah. Oh boy. Complicated. Do I have to specify all of the types so completely? I guess I do, right? Oh, maybe I don't. Standard token response has all of these. Oh, so I should instrument it with all of this weird stuff too. Clone, debug, deserialize, and serialize. Debug, deserialize, serialize. Okay, and then we need to specify all of the extra bits and pieces. Okay, where extra token fields and token type. Not completely sure I understand this part, to be honest with you. Because I'm not, no, I wasn't planning on making this a generic type. Maybe I should. Wonder if I can get away without doing that. Let's just see how far we get. So access token isn't being deserialized, which is weird. Deserialize with helpers, deserialize untagged enum case insensitive. The token type. I don't think I need that. Said skip deserializing if option is none. Okay. And it's an option use 64, so not a 32. Interesting. I'm not sure if I would ever, I don't think they're ever going to return one without, yeah, I think it's okay to deserialize it straight in, but I'm going to make it a 64 just in case. I don't think Twitch is going to return a token without, but hopefully if I PR this to their replay, they'll correct me if I'm wrong. Option refresh token. So that, oh, why is there no refresh token? Oh, there is, I just missed it. Okay. Plug refresh token as refresh token. Okay. An access token is access token. Okay. ID token, I assume, has its own type as well. Scopes is option vec scope. Wait, why is scopes plural? Uh, okay, that's right. We'll work with that. So ID token, where does ID token come into it? Where does ID token come into it? Is it under extra fields? There's not even anything in there. Pretty sure that's going to be an ID token. Oh, I see. It's a generic type. Let's start with string. And see where it leads us. What is extra fields? Extra token fields. Yeah, I'm not sure I totally understand. Is that because the OIDC standard specifies extra fields? Extra fields ID token is the OIDC part of the response. ID token claims, token response, extra fields, ID token. So if I look for token response, does have still an extra token fields and token type. All right, fine. Let's just copy them. That also is going to be a nonce. And I don't think ID token is going to be there. I think we're going to have pub extra fields. I don't know what it's going to be though. Oh, I see. It's an EF. All right, cool. EFTT. Where EF extra token fields, TT token type. And then we've got access token expires in, which is not an option, refresh token, scope, and extra fields. Token type is going to be, I see. So we don't need to worry about it being an enum because it's already got that covered by the look of it. And token type can be a what? Basically, almost anything. Oh, damn it. Okay, so I wanted IDC mod, and I want the definition for token response. All right. ID token. Yeah, no, not that one. Wait a minute. What does that ID token return? Self extra fields ID token. Oh, this is so confusing. What you fool, you're a glutton for punishment. You have already been here today. I discovered that many people have already asked about this, and I just wasn't looking in the right place. So they've suggested a fix. But unfortunately, my fix is really hacky, and their fix is quite cool, but it also means digging into Rust internals in a way that I'm not really used to. So I am working on it. I'm hoping I can clear through this in not too much longer. But I can actually start using this stuff. Perfect being the enemy of good, after all. Um, so, but yeah, there's some pretty deep use of generics in here that I really don't understand yet. Best of luck if you ever lose your sanity, let me know. I don't think I'll be able to. Like if I've lost my sanity, I really don't think I will be capable of doing that anymore. Okay. So maybe we start with new. EF, TT, EF token type, where EF extra token fields, TT token type. Pub FN new access token. Token type, extra fields. Self, access token, token type, expires in. Why does it have to be? Why can't I create them all at once? Hmm. Set the access token field, set the token type, set expires in. I see. So we use setters to generate the rest. The thing is, I don't want them all to be none in the meantime. I don't really care if they're options or not. Seems like they're mandatory parts of the Twitch response. Nothing in life is ever easy. So right. Yeah, I don't really see why I shouldn't declare all of it in the new. It seems to me that they're mandatory parts of the Twitch response, so setting them as option makes no sense to me. Let's just try it, see what happens. Unnecessary visibility qualifier. It's not a member of trait token response. Oh, well, why am I even defining it? So confused. What is a member of trait tokens? All right, let's try it then. So what are the members of token response? Self, additional claims, gender claim. What the hell? I don't think that's the right token response. Seems like it is. Oh, this is an implementation of the standard token response. That's not actually what I want. I want this. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's so confusing. All right. Token response for Twitch token response. Yes, that's correct. So now I want access token and self and access token and self access token. Token type and self and TT and self token type. Expires in self return as a duration, which is interesting because it's a U32. I'm not sure if the oh yeah, I see. We're doing it in line. It isn't. Is that because I haven't put option? Nope. Weird. Huh. Why have I imported the wrong thing? If an access token and access token, self access token. That's kind of word for word what it is. Are we talking about a different token response? This is pub trait token response TT. This is not the same thing. Maybe this one? Oh, so confusing. Common methods shared by, oh, it's from OAuth 2. Okay, that I did not understand. Uh, so I need to incorporate, wait, extensible strongly typed implementation of OAuth 2. So is this provided or Pane O auth 2 Rust docs auth 2. That's the one. All right. Not that one. Not that. Not that. Auth 2. Where's the auth 2 one? There's auth 2 token response. Oh, so I need to call it auth 2 token response. Man, this isn't confusing at all. Ah, okay. Now we're talking. Consider importing cert serialize? Yeah, probably. Just give me a sec. Okay, that's better. Interesting, it won't go to definition, but never mind. Maybe it needs a build in the background, but let's just push on. Yep, you're right. We do need to import that. Really? All right, we're missing scopes. Duration isn't a thing. Expires in has an incompatible type for trait. It's expecting standard option time duration. Right. All right. I'll have to change it. Actually, no, I don't have to change it. That is also expecting an option. Okay. We're missing scopes. And that essentially would be a string, I think, but let's just let's go check. This is an ITC mod. We want client, I think. The standard token response. And then look at their implementation. There it is. So what do they do with scopes? Option and vec scope. All right. Option and vec scope. and they return self scopes as ref, which means that self scopes is defined as an option vec scope. So in fact, I could probably do that pretty happily. The only thing is, how does it get from one to the other? How does it deserialize into that? Self scopes equals scopes. Oh, that's set scope. Self scopes as ref. I don't know. Self scope singular as ref. I don't know because that's not an option. So maybe it should be some scopes as an incompatible type. Option and vec scope. What am I doing differently? Expected option and vec scope. Oh, wrong scope. That one. Okay. Oh, I need a drink of tea. That is fairly hideous. And it's all because Twitch doesn't want to be compliant with its API. Multiple implementations or where clauses satisfying deserialize. Oh my god. That is a hell of an error. Deserialize comes from CERD. Should it actually be from CERD JSON? Is that what the problem is? Type annotations needed. I think I remember seeing this in their code. So we've got access token, which is an access token. Wait, which deserialize do they use? Just CERD. So many docs, so many docs. Oh man, token response. Common methods shared by all OAuth2 token implementations. Token type expires in refresh token in scopes. By the way, can I reorder these? This is really going to bug me. Okay, now standard token response. Okay, token type. Oops, not there. Doesn't look like it needs to be public even, which is interesting. Access token doesn't have an annotation. Token type gets cert bound TT token type. I don't fully understand what that does, but let's find out. And we're going to copy this. So I don't know what that does either, which is always dubious. And that's already an error. Undeclared module helpers. Mark A. Go to top, find helpers. Pub helpers. Okay, so it's in. So I need to have helpers deserialized, untagged, enum, case insensitive available to me. Holy crap. Helpers deserialize. This is not going to work. Untagged, enum, case insensitive. Definitely did not work. IDC Rust docs open ID connect. Helpers. No, that's headers. Maybe helpers isn't exported. Deserialize untagged. Nope. Untagged enum case insensitive. Is this from CERD? Surely not. What's the string that we're talking about here? Sounds like an example why standards exist. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Because the lengths that I go to, I mean, I have a working workaround now because this library treats it as an error, and I just go through and say, no, it's not an error. I'm just going to recreate it. But I don't want to do that. I want it to work. So the question is, where does this helper come from, and should I even try to import it? Deserialize untagged enum case insensitive. Really? Even they don't have it? Wait, what? Helpers, there it is. So do they maybe not export this stuff? Pub crate function. Damn it. Wonder if helpers itself is that seems unlikely. It's private. God damn it. Cobra VR. This is deep into the weeds. You're right. Welcome. You don't necessarily have to watch this pain if you don't want to, but I appreciate the time and attention. Previous importer scope here. Yeah, we don't want that one. Consider importing use auth. Oh, really? Is it possible that OAuth2 helpers are the same? I don't know Rust. I haven't used sudo apt-get in the second line. Well, I use pacman, so you're fine there. I'm assuming that those helpers are not the same helpers. Having said that, this no longer reports an error. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Maybe the helpers are a re-export of the OAuth2 ones. Skip deserializing if option is none. I don't think it's ever going to be none, looking at Twitch's response. Excellent, I like the exposure. Well, this is exposure, like a raw wound, basically. Um, expires in, option use, yeah, don't care about those. Third rename scope, oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. So they're renaming scopes to scope to scopes. I wonder if maybe there's a little bit of variation in library support. So I can do this. I don't want this because it will never be a space delimited string. It's always going to be an array from Twitch, which is the whole problem. And we don't want that. So that should, in theory, kind of work. I don't understand how the extra fields thing works though. I know that Twitch returns nonce. I know it returns extra, well, I don't know if it returns extra fields. Mainly know some assembly and just kind of try to sparse out what I'm reading. Yeah, I get that. I have spent only a very small amount of time with 68,000 assembler back when I had an Amiga, but that's about it. I've never written x86 assembler. I should try it at some point just to say that I have. Meg creates games. How the hell are you? Meg creates games does pretty much what it says on the tin. Creates games. You should follow them. Had to do it in college for a semester. I got through. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing I'd like to play with, and maybe on a separate board, like one of those programs where you buy like a Raspberry Pi and then do the kind of zeroed operating system thing with it. But it sounds like a lot of time investment. Like over 10 years ago, I get how syntax functions here. So I'm thinking that extra fields could contain things like nonce, for example, because their definition doesn't have a nonce. So extra token fields is extra fields to the token response. Oh boy. Okay, I'm going to leave it in, but I'm also going to leave this for a little bit because the only thing they have is access token, token type, expires in, refresh token, and scopes, whereas I have access token, expires in, nonce, refresh token, scope. So nonce is the only thing that stands out. Hmm. Tricky stuff. Tricky stuff. I don't know. I would actually just like to get this running and see if it helps in any way. So it's confused about deserialize in this context. I think I'll close this. So I've got a bit more room to work with. I don't understand why there are multiple things, multiple implementations or where clauses satisfying CERD deserialize have been found. Required for Twitch token response to implement deserialize. Cannot satisfy CERD deserialize type annotations needed. I think I need the help of the Oracle. Let's ask the Oracle. Please attempt to explain why Rust complains that multiple implementations of the deserialize trait are present here. CERD's automatic trait definition. Oh, sorry about the ads. Ensure that your custom deserialization function is compatible with the token type trait. Interesting. If the trait token type itself requires specific deserialization logic, hmm, yeah, I've been getting a lot of ads for the fighting game, the new one. I forget what it's called now. Tekken 8 or something like that. But no food ads around here. I've seen controllers for Twitch chat commands and redeems for in-game events. I'm excited to see what people cock up now viewers can send commands into the game. Yeah, I think this is really what I want to play with is just chat interaction. All kinds of things you can do with it. Seen people do some really creative stuff. But I think this custom helper is not helping me. And since I know that token type is always going to be bearer, why don't we just do this? I mean, token type is bearer for Twitch. So take token type out of it and see if that improves matters. One generic parameter. Oh yeah, so get rid of that. Okay, now what? Oh, yep. Now we need to get rid of the token type. I don't know if this is going to work because I think the trait may require it, but let's just give it a crack. Make it simpler, make it simpler. Missing generics, damn it. Okay, so what happens if we undo that, but essentially refuse to use it? um, so now we know that token type is a string. It's going to complain. Can't find TT. Really? It should be in scope. Oh, I see. Takes one, but two were supplied. Really? Hmm. Rust generics, man. The token is for specifically authentication. Yeah. So the story is that Twitch returns this as a token response. Um, scope is supposed to look like this. Scope, open ID, foo, bar. It's supposed to be a space delimited string. It's not. And so this library breaks because scope is non-standard. It's not complying with the OIDC RFC. You couldn't understand how the controller actually connects to the stream elements itself. Yeah. Um, so I think oftentimes people are listening to events coming out of Twitch because there's an API that you can connect to, and that's part of what we'll be doing in here. But also, I think some people are using custom extensions. Um, so yeah, the token response is non-standard, and that requires a little bit of skating around it. Now this, I'm wondering if it's missing this. Takes one, but two was supplied, right? Takes one, but two was supplied. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. I don't imagine that this will work. I don't know if there's going to be a conversion from token type of string to whatever this generic is, but maybe, maybe I might get lucky. Okay, so what's going on up here? Still the deserialize error. Type annotations needed. Cannot satisfy EF. All right. Why can we just rip EF out? Do I need the extra fields? Apparently I do. Hmm. So when someone subscribes, fireworks goes off in the world and their name appears in the sky. I don't know, people have just started cooking. Yeah, exactly. Um, you can absolutely stream those commands into a runtime Unity scene for sure. Or spawn like Hammer of Dawn. Yeah, I don't know that I'll be doing anything quite that dramatic, but you never know. Man, it's getting so dark. It's only 5:30 in the afternoon. All right, so I need extra fields to satisfy the. I do not understand that. Interesting. But you're going to need deserialize. I mean, there's no way you can get away without it because that's how it gets from JSON to this. Baby steps, exactly. I'll settle for being able to read and send to chat. I'm getting waved at by a Sterling. My office sits below the road, and if someone I know walks past, like with kids or whatever, they will wave at me. It's kind of funny. The commands by chat, for example, can move a camera for the screen. Absolutely. Yep. No question. I saw this never trust chat with a camera. Yeah. I do have a camera, but I haven't been turning it on just yet. I'm thinking about putting it over my dogs, in fact, as the dog bed sits next to this, and that seems to be quite popular with people. Um, all right. I need to understand why it's complaining about deserialize and how I would annotate the type. Just the rest of it looks like it's starting to comply. Extra token fields could be what? Let's look at the definition of standard token response. All right, where extra token fields, sure. See, we might need to use GitHub search for this one. I know an asset, but it's paid. I was going to get it, but I'm not working on a world at the moment. Yeah, fair enough. Any pet will be popular, to be honest. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the ferrets, although I I definitely have a kind of a cognitive dissonance with the ferrets because in our country, in New Zealand, um, they're responsible for widespread devastation of the natural environment. Stoats, weasels, and ferrets just kill all of our native birds. So we basically get rid of them. So yeah, I don't talk about that much because people find the ferrets very endearing. So standard token response, core ID token fields, core token type. I see. So it's that you have to define it. Uh, I heard about that, about a whole lockdown of an island because of a stoat. Yeah, something similar. Stoats in particular. Ferrets are bad, but stoats are the worst. They're such efficient killers. They just go into nests and eat the eggs and kill all the baby birds. It's really bad because they evolved without a defense against that kind of thing. So they have no defense against predators like that. Okay, so they actually define it. So if we go in here, they define core token response as standard token response, core ID token fields, core token type. So where's core ID token fields? ID token fields, empty additional claims, extra token fields, gender claim, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Man. Oh, I want the simplest possible approach to this that still works. I want to take a lot of the complexity out of it. How do I take the complexity out of it? I want the minimum approach that still implements this interface, because if I don't implement token response, I can't use it with this library. Is Rust good at the minimalist approach? It depends on your point of view. It's really good at preventing you from shooting yourself in the foot. The lack of foot guns is quite strong. Um, so it's good at preventing you from making memory errors and using a variable that you shouldn't be using. But the errors I find to be quite confusing. Um, so, for example, this error, I don't really understand what that means. There's a lot going on in there, you know? So I have to take it apart piece by piece and try and understand what's going on. Doesn't the compiler stop you from making no-nos? To an extent it does, yes, but then you're left with problems like this where you don't really see a clear way to solve unless you've seen that error before, um, which, you know, I haven't. So, because I'm doing something relatively complex for me. For some people, it would be quite easy, but not for me because I'm still relatively new at Rust generics. But I know that if I just keep plugging away at it, I'm eventually going to figure it out. So that gives me hope. Okay, so extra fields and TT, token response, TT for standard token response, EFTT. And what we're doing, not that, is this. But in theory, what they want us to do is this. If the code has to pull on an API for authentication, is actual nightmare material. I can't even self-capture. Rastus has that where clause that reminds me of SQL. Yeah, you're right, actually. Okay, so now we've got, yeah. So we go here and we add that back in because it wasn't really helping us. And then they need type annotations for deserialize. And I'm wondering if it just needs the token type to be narrowed down a bit. Oh, have I bitten off more than I can chew? Or do I just need to keep plugging away at it? I tell you what, while I think about that, I'm going to go and stir the dinner on the stove, and I will be back in a sec. All right. Oh, no worries, Nate. Thanks for stopping by. Um, okay. This I understand. This makes sense to me. The deserialize problem does not. So they are using a custom deserializer. Let's see if we can find that. It's in helpers. Not in there though. So I think in school we had to learn how to call from a SQL database with JavaScript. Oh, cool. Helpers, there it is. And deserialize string or vec? No. No. Option or none. What's the actual one called? I haven't got it because I haven't got token type anymore. Um, so we'll probably get rid of auth2 helpers. It's called deserialize untagged enum case insensitive. Of course it is. Untagged enum. It's not even there. Wait a minute. Deserialize untagged enum. Nope. Let's try this. Just random web search on the string. Deserialize untagged enum case insensitive. This is not helping. Uh, um, where are they getting that from? Oh, we're down the well now. Help us, help us. Helper methods used by auth2 implementations extensions. See, the thing is, that should have returned from his repo because it exists in there. Oh, I bet it's an OpenID Connect. It's in the auth variant. It's in this one. Source helpers. There it is. Oh, well, that's pretty simple. Let's just grab it. Okay, cool. So we'll just plonk it down in here. Yoink. Does Twitch provide documentation on its API authentication token? Yep. So it lives here. In all its non-standard glory. Now, so now that we have that, we'll go back and add token type sid wait token response standard token response. There it is. Okay, so deserialize with is what we're looking for. Deserialize with. Deserialize untagged enum case insensitive. Did that help? I think it might have actually. Can't find deserializer. Sir Jason or Sir, I wonder. I guess they don't give the Rust example. Yeah, I guess not. Um, and even if they did, this is using a third-party library, so I wouldn't necessarily expect them to support it. So, did I get the wrong value? Let's find out if this value is from, yeah, so Jason, okay. So now we're back to an error, I think. Yep, it certainly didn't help. Ugh. Um, what does it need in order to determine what what kind of typo notation are we even talking about here? I'm going to ask ChatGPT to analyze a larger section of the code to see if it can break the deadlock a little bit. Because I am somewhat stumped. Here's a larger chunk of code. Can you identify any a more concrete solution to the type annotation request? Yeah, so well, we have in fact worked out the auth code grant flow route. It's just we're unable to store it in the thing that it's supposed to be stored in. So that's what we're working on now. This is worried about the enum. So maybe I'll give it the definition for token type and see what it does then. Token type is defined as follows. If you intend to use an enum, you can define an enum and implement the required traits. Yeah, but yeah. Deserialize to the generic token type parameter. Oh yeah, we needed to do that. I don't think it helps, but we needed to do that. Hmm. Okay, I'm close to bailing on this, but I'd really like to see if I can get it done. Multiple implementations or where clauses satisfying deserialize if found. Just a random hash on that to give me more context. Try using cargo expand. If you manually copy the expanded version, do you get a more helpful error message? A long-standing Rust C bug. Should never write struct batch parameter ty type. Hmm. Whether T gets bound implicitly is defined by the derived macro for deserialize in the third crate. Not all derives will necessarily do this, but most should. It isn't enforced by the compiler. It's purely up to the derived macro implementer. But to answer your question, yes, deserialize and derived macro will add that bound to generic type parameters. Is it possible that I'm importing the wrong token type? It's from the OAuth 2 one. Both of them are. So if I get rid of those and re-import them, maybe there's some incompatibility there that I'm not seeing. Extra token fields and token type. Nope, there's only one option. So confusing. Type annotations needed, cannot satisfy deserialize. It's EF that's the problem. Hmm. And if we look at that, deserialize owned plus debug plus serialize. It's not supposed to be empty extra token fields, is it? Hmm. Don't really understand how extra token fields works. Let's look at the OAuth2 docs. Yeah, extra fields. Extra token fields. Trait for adding extra fields to the token response. Extra token fields. Let me see somebody's sample code. No, it's just re-exported the docs. Okay. Examples. Maybe Twitch doesn't like it with authenticating there's more than one token. Yeah, the thing is though, I'm already authenticated. The only issue I'm having is translating the response that Twitch is sending back. So the entire authentication flow already works. It's just figuring out how Rust handles, or in particular this library handles, deserializing the JSON response into a struct. And that is proving tricky. um, oh, wait, do I have to implement this for the type? Oh, that might be what I'm missing. Implementation of extra token fields for colorful fields. Ah, So no wonder it's having trouble deserializing it if I haven't told it what goes into it. So just purely out of interest, if I go implementation extra token fields or Twitch token response. Oh yeah, because I need the where. So still doesn't help me. So let's look at how standard token response implements it, if at all. Implementation of extra token fields for empty extra token fields. Nope. Okay, let's try again. I see. Does what Twitch send back require the token again to read? No, not at all. It's just a question of structure. So Twitch is sending back a malformed response that doesn't comply with the OIDC RFC document. So this library therefore decides that that's an error, and I would like it not to not to create an error when we're trying to translate the response. And if I can, I'll end up with an example that I can contribute back to the open source library. Implementation extra token fields. Yeah. Well, this is an implementation. Cert bound EF extra token fields. Ah, non-standard token response. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. Um, yeah, this is a good example. Okay. So a non-standard OAuth2 token response. It only derives EF extra token fields. Token type is option basic token type. Yes. I can do this. Okay, cool. All right, first of all, let's grab this. And we should also store the URL because that seems pretty damn useful to me. Okay. Clone, debug, deserialize, and serialize. That's correct. And then we're going to go struct non-standard token response, EF, extra token fields. Yes. Then we've got access token is correct. Wunderlist doesn't follow respect the RFC specs and doesn't return the token type. Non-standard token response makes the token type optional. Okay. It does return the token type though, in my case, but it's offering a default. So here I could say, stop doing that. And then which always returns bearer. I could put a default there, but let's just see how we go. Skip serializing if option is none. Expires in. Yep. Twitch always sends expires in back. I guess it might be simpler to make it an option. And then that becomes option. Yeah. Okay, cool. Token type we already know, except it's going to be, instead of string, it's going to be basic token type. Maybe default token type. We'll duplicate this until we have a reason not to. Yeah, so now I think we need to explicitly import OAuth to RS. What's it published as? Just OAuth 2? Okay. I think I might need to do a cargo rebuild till it finds the type. Basic token type should come from where? OAuth 2 basic token type. And how is it defined? As an enum. And bearer, I hope, is the default. Okay. So use OAuth 2. Basic token type. All right. What else we got? Expires in. which we've already changed. Refresh token. Might as well grab this. I don't really see the point in making them optional, but I guess if it's easier. Third rename scope, deserialize with OAuth2 helpers deserialize space delimited vec. Except that it's not, because it's not a space delimited string. I thought that it requires reuse of the token for deserializing server-to-server API information to be IDC spec. Not to my knowledge. Once it arrives back in the server, you can pretty much do what you want. But we may be talking about different things. Okay. That I don't want, but I will keep the option in the default. But not for there though. And this default token type might be from, so it's Rust receiving the information, but it's not forming. Yeah, correct. So the receiving library is quite strict about how it expects the response to be formatted. And in this case, it throws an error, essentially. So I'm trying to define an alternative type, but it's proving to be very complicated. Default token type. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. I don't mind stealing that. It's not public, I assume, so. Oh, it's in the example. Okay. Yeah, so we'll just add this. There we go. Okay. Now, I think that's most of it. The extra fields is the next bit. Bound EF extra token fields, cert flatten. Okay. I thought that for OIDC it has to be stored in a way where if it's recalled, it requires the token. There may be some requirements on storage locally. There could easily be. I don't have that much experience with storage of it on the server. All I'm doing is putting it into a cache and referencing it every time I need it. So I think, to be honest, that a lot of applications will store a token in what makes sense to them. I think that probably a specification like that is likely to get people to stop putting tokens in databases in plain text, doing things like that. This is an in-memory store, so it's not going to be kept anywhere in kind of permanent storage. But I could well be wrong. I'm definitely not an OIDC expert. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. I think we're getting somewhere. I need to refer back to the example and see exactly how we're defining this. Implementation EF token response for non-standard token response EF. Yeah, so let's do that next. Now, the token response they're referring to is the one defined in OAuth 2. So if I go up here, I should see it in just in straight OAuth 2. So this is probably now wrong. We'll get rid of token type. And we want from OpenID Connect OAuth 2. We want from OAuth 2. For some reason, it's not finding it. I think probably what's happening is OpenID Connect is exposing OAuth 2 as a as part of itself. But what we'll do is this. Better. Missing generics. I see. So it is actually OpenID Connect OAuth 2 token response. Interesting. I see, my interpretation was wrong. It's not that a master key is there to deserialize all incoming information, but is active for the session the dev accesses the memory, and that's stored in cache. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Okay, use OAuth 2 token response. But I think I could also use, so why is there not a generic? Implementation token response, missing generics. I think we need cargo clean in a build because things are getting messy. I've added a bunch of libraries. Well, let's see what happens. Okay. It still thinks that there's a missing trait, missing parameter. It's defined in OAuth 2 librs. Ah, no, now it goes away. All right, so we needed a rebuild. Yep, that's more like it. This is going to be wrong. So let's see how they defined it. Token type is, I see, okay. Basic token type. Type token type equals basic token type. So now it should work. Token type returns a basic token type. Thank goodness I found this example. Just a general question about leaving the key in the ignition. Wouldn't that just be obfuscated post-compilation? Um, well, the key will be in memory uh, rather than in compiled code. Has the word token lost its meaning? Yes, Furnace Sigma, to some extent it has. I've typed token so many times now that I actually don't know what my life is or what direction I'm facing. But yes, that and OIDC, which I've said OICD so many times I can't even count. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question correctly, Cobra VR. But my sense of it is that it's not a concern if the token is present in memory locally. It has to be used. It is a concern if that gets expressed anywhere like a database, for example, or written to disk. Uh, if your server is compromised to the point where they can inspect memory, then you've got other bigger problems. Okay, so this is now heading life. Token type is not a member of trait token response. Okay, that is otherwise normal. Option refresh token as ref. So this is going to have to change from some. This is going to have to change there. And this. I'm async. I'm wild. I'm throwing up inside a heartbroken trusted file deep inside the spawn child. You know, I'm there. I'm with you. I was thinking how to set up in a way where there's a reference to my key, but not the key itself. It's probably so basic. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Yeah, go for it, man. I've been doing that all afternoon. Some of the answers were useful and some of them weren't. Okay, now we've got this question mark here again. Ah, we're still missing generics. I am so confused. They don't seem to need it here. Oh, I bet this is, we're looking at a ref. So what we need is the version that's not the alpha because they're about to release a new version. So I definitely need to visit the one that's correct. So let's go to main and then look at history and pick something from a while back. Last month, maybe? Mm, no, I don't think so. How old is version 3.5 point whatever? Oh, okay, they're not on the same release path as the other crate. So somehow someone scrapes the memory, it's not stored in a useful way. I think if someone is able to get the memory of the server that you're on, then you are massively compromised. That's not a concern I care to think about right now. Um, okay, let's just look at the main branch for now. Because their example seems to be doing things that I do not expect. For non-standard token response, where EF is extra token fields. You have bigger fish to fry if your memory is being fuzzed by unknown parties. Yeah, yeah, that's a pretty severe compromise right there. Um, why did they not need this? That's my question. Where's my blame? There's my blame. Uh, Replace token response generic with associated type. Ah, okay. Uses of basic token response should continue to work without changes. Custom implementations of either trait will need to be updated to replace the type parameter with an associated type. Uh, okay, okay. Um, yeah, say in a collab where you're sharing files, etc. I don't want someone I'm working with to be compromised that causes me to be compromised. I mean, true, although um, again, if someone is able to execute remote code on your PC via one of those files that you shared, again, anything could be compromised at that point. What am I doing with the OAuth2 crate? So I'm mainly using the OpenID crate, but that uses the OAuth2 crate. And I'm trying to translate one of their examples because Twitch returns a non-standard response, particularly in the scopes field, and it breaks. Now I've got a workaround for it, but it's ugly, and I'm trying to make a better workaround for it that relies on implementing this token response trait. The goal is so that I don't have to do this, which is my workaround. We basically wait for a pass error and then uh, reserialize the value, correcting it, and then deserialize it again. It's really ugly, but it works. So we change essentially scope foo bar as an array to scope foo space bar. Not space bar, but space bar. Yeah, so it's been fun. And the workaround is suggested by the maintainer of the library is to implement this token response trait. Which if we do it, will enable us to just do things the normal way and not mess around with intercepting pass errors and doing fancy things like that. So, but I didn't realize when I embarked on this how many generics were involved. So what they're saying here is uses of basic token response and basic token introspection response should continue to work without changes. Custom implementations of either trait will need to be updated. So what happens if I get rid of this? It's still complaining? It's still complaining. I wonder if there's a compatible version. I think probably what I'm seeing is a version incompatibility between the OECD crate and the OAuth2 crate. My brain hurts. If I do this, does that help? No. So that means you would have to go all the way back. And now I'm deep in the static dispatch type gymnastics hole. That's a very good way of putting it. Yes, it's a hole, and I'm very close to giving up for the evening. But yeah, it's been fun. Uh, we're on the part. The second step is to use the authorization code to get an access token, refresh token, and ID token. Well, actually, we've successfully achieved that part. We just can't put it in the. We can't deserialize it correctly without jumping through hoops. I would prefer not to jump through hoops, so I'm jumping through other hoops, which makes no sense whatsoever. Um, so in order to make this work, I have to add this. And then we go back into the problem with deserialize. Ah, it's pain. Is there not a JWT approach? I'm pretty sure that it returns at least one JWT in the form of the ID token, which has the claims on it. But there's also this surrounding response type which needs to be dealt with. I'll get it to work. I'm just not sure if I'll necessarily get it to work using the way this library wants me to do it. I can deserialize it just fine. I'm just not sure if I can get it to work the way they want. Yeah, auth is harsh. There's no question about it. Although I must admit, the Rust complexity around the generics has added a layer that I'm not all that familiar with. So what version did they do this in? This was last week. Oh, for the alpha. Right. I'm not on the alpha version. So where is the previous tag? Where's the previous tag? Because if I can do that, then I might not have to worry. Let's look at the history here and see where it changed. That URL got suppressed, I'm afraid. Docs.rs. Yeah, yeah, good call. But if I can just specify a tag, that would also be cool. What I'm wondering though is, see 442, I think that's what I've already got. What I'm wondering is if they're embedding this in OpenID Connect. So if we look here at their cargo, what does it need? OAuth 2 version, yeah, version alpha, but that's the main branch. So if you go to, I think support 3, 441. So I've currently got, I'm sure I've got a mismatch here. So OpenID Connect 3.5, OAuth 2, 442. Let's look at the release history for OAuth 2. Maybe I can work this out. Rust versioning is odd, yeah. Well, I hope they're using, oh man, 442, 441. I don't see why it's exposing a change in token response that isn't in that you don't get until you get to the alpha, I think. Yeah, replace token response. Oh, I see. I see, I see. I'm looking at the example for the alpha. That's what's going on. Let's look at this. Examples, Wunderlist. Only derives one. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, now I'm back on track. The issue in my code is that I was trying to implement an example for the alpha version of 5, and I shouldn't have been. Okay, basic token type is token type. All right, so here we go. So that is not something I need. Yeah, here we go. So this needs to be basic token type. This needs to go away. This needs to stay the way it is. I see it's not decoding the calls. It mentions scope and just gives a simple example, not in Rust. Yeah, because I pulled up GitHub and the source was different than the version you're using. Absolutely. Yeah, always docs.rs. I've been using that, but I must admit I went to the main branch in this case, so that cost me some time, no doubt about it. That's what happens when people keep developing software. Basic token type is a token type. All right, now access token, that's fine. That returns basic token type, that's still fine. What color scheme? This is dusk. What's the name of it? Um, uh, Netlure. It's called Dusk Fox, and there's 5 variants of the same kind of thing. The repo is called Night Fox. Unity gives you a headache every upgrade. Yeah, I can kind of understand that. Yeah, I really like this color scheme. I've been using it for probably almost a year now. I used Nord for a long time. This is like heavy backend. I haven't even thought about it. I mean, there's no question that my unfamiliarity with Rust's kind of um, intricacies is definitely contributing to this. So I wouldn't want you to look at it and think that it's always this hard. A lot of what I do is Bevy code. So Bevy's the game engine that I use. Uh, and you don't really have to deal with a lot of this stuff. It's kind of abstracted away from you, but we're down in the dirty right now. Okay, so I think I may have approached, oops, sorry, ads. Yeah, I quite like I couldn't do the light thing, but the dark one's not bad. Maybe the pink is a little much for me, so a little standouty, but other than that, pretty cool. I like seeing you approach the problem solving aspect. I mean, my only saving grace as a developer slash engineer, whatever you want to call it, is that I'm quite stubborn. Um, I definitely am not the fastest or the smartest. I'm a bit of an old fart and I like plodding my way through problems, but I eventually get there just because I assume that it's just a question of not understanding it yet, right? You eventually figure it out. Also, heavy reliance on reading sample code. Okay, cool. So I suspect we may have gotten rid of the last of the errors. Let's look at the rest of the example though to make sure that I'm not missing a piece of the puzzle here. So how do they use the different type when they're doing right? Auth URL, token URL, set redirect URL, sure. Authorized URL, open in the browser. How do they handle the deserialization? Redirect server, don't care about that. Where is the client exchange token? Yeah, add extra parameter. Oh, okay. Request. Hmm. I kind of expected that it would need to specify its type somewhere. Maybe it works through the magic of inference. Let's look for non-standard token response. Ah, non-standard token response, special token response. Type special client equals client. Okay. So they created a whole other type of client. I made stupid crate just to do the path name truncating like it's done on your status line. And then someone mentioned it in the Rust discussion group and they found it to be bad. I do. It's one of the very few NVim functions I've ever written because I want the last two things and then I want the rest of it. Um, where have I put it is the question. There it is. I think. Oh, that's not it. Function Lua. That one. Yeah, path condense. Um, it could well be bad. I have no idea. Um, but yeah, it does a little bit of path matching. Actually, the original one, the Vim script one, I asked on Stack Overflow and talked back and forth with someone until I figured it out. Um, so yeah, that's all it is. Uh, and my flow is YouTube tutorials, Google search, ChatGPT, human. Yeah, I do only the last thing. It's called spat on the old crates I own. Oh, nice. Yeah, I do. I like if I just have a string of letters and then a name, I get a bit lost. So I quite like having the containing directory as well. Oh yeah, if it's on the shell prompt, I get it. Yeah. Okay, so where the hell did that come from? Right, so they define a custom client type, and then we're looking for special client. Special client new. Okay. All right. The empty extra token fields thing is interesting. I don't fully understand it. Um, but I'll figure that out eventually. So this is an IDC mod. Twitch client. What are we going to call this? That is a Twitch token response. Empty extra token fields is a known type. I usually watch streams to see how they solve their problems in the tools, language, and alternatives. It's all about the exposure when I'm bored at work. Yeah, fair enough. Did you have this moment when you first used smart pointers in Rust the way you're meant to use them? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I haven't had that moment yet. It might be still to come. Um, I don't really like the name special token response. Maybe let's go with malformed. It's a little bit more specific. And then we've got Twitch client. They need client, which is a, I think it's a core client. Oh, two client. Okay. Takes 6 generic arguments. Damn it. 6. Come on now. That's just rude. 6. Well, their one doesn't take 6. Auth to client. I've been writing heap allocations after heap allocations trying to send my system audio over LAN. What? That sounds amazing. I have no idea how to do it. I learned how to keyframe an emote at work yesterday. Nice. Yeah, I must admit I do occasionally listen to Twitch at work, trying to go contracting so that I can not necessarily hate my job quite so much. Um, Type special client. Yeah, so why does that not take 6 generics? We wonders, we wonders. Because it certainly looks the same to me. Maybe it's missing basic error response basic token type. Interesting that that is, what? Is this another version thing? Am I on the wrong version? No, I'm on the right one this time. Maybe it's the wrong client. Auth to client. The moment for me was using an RFC ref cell to send a shared buffer to multiple event listeners just to get device names. Okay, I understood some of the words in that sentence. Now I can do the transforms and send them wiggly things. All right. Yeah, I have some very basic Ace-Bright animation, but that's about it. Okay, what is the time? I'll give it another 18 minutes and then I need to go and finish dinner. Okay, use Linux, right? Yep. We are, there we go. Oh, excuse me. That's why I love art streams. Yeah, I know. This is some of the art just approaches magic. It's ridiculous. I don't understand. All right, well, what is the definition of client then? Oh boy. Okay. Error response, token type, token introspection response, revocable token, and error response. Damn. Fellow arch user, nice, nice. Um, I caught that by the way, by the way. What am I looking at here? Why does their example work and mine doesn't? What is the distinction here? I mean, theirs is, if anything, even more expansive, except it's got defaults. But this is not the same definition. If you use Pipewire, the audio server API primitives and just the sheer naming makes me lose my mind. Yeah, yeah, I use Wireplumber. Found out once you got a working Arch build, it doesn't end there, but it did. Okay, fair enough. I understand. I've been using Arch for about, I guess, a decade or more. So it's just standard practice for me now. I used to, I've used a bunch of different things. Gentoo, um, Ubuntu, obviously, straight Debian or Debian or however you say it. Red Hat way back in the day. Um, Mint for a little while. But yeah, Arch kind of stuck. I just like rolling release distributions, basically. Um, okay, I don't understand. What am I missing? Uh, it imports client, and then it seems to get away with the fact that maybe it's a trait, or maybe basic error response, special token response, basic token type. I wonder if empty extra token fields, I wonder if because I'm importing it from the wrong place, I don't really see why, but extra token fields is imported from there. I feel like actually this kind of mixed up importing is a bad idea. So weird. What is the distinction? I'm just using it for a year without snapshots. I'm always fascinated by the bootstrap mentality. Well, yeah, although I bumped into someone the other day who was doing Linux from scratch. That's the bootstrap mentality. So I think they were mostly just reading the documentation. Yeah, I don't know. That's really confusing. Why their client is different to mine. So that's 442. Um, client, definitely 6 arguments. I wouldn't even know where to begin to provide the other 3. Maybe just import straight. So we've got basic error response, malformed token response, basic token type. I don't suppose there are basic versions of the other ones. Basic, intro, yep, there is. Oh my God. Revocable token. No, my luck ran out. What about error response? Yep, it's one of those. What is basic revocable token when it's at home? Or revocable token for that matter. Oh, standard revocable token. What could it hurt? Holy crap. I don't understand. All right. Uh, okay, I can do this. I can do it. What's the time? 10 minutes. Um, okay. So it survived. So now you have to create a client, which I will import into client RS. And we go down the rabbit hole once more. Instead of core client, we're going to use let client equals Twitch client. New. And they provide it with client ID, client secret, auth URL, and token URL. Oh, so is there no from provider metadata? Actually, maybe there is. I'm making assumptions. Damn. I was hopeful for a minute there. I wonder if I can tweak this to use core client instead. Actually, what is core client? Oh man. Oh man. Um, from provider metadata. Nope. Okay, so core client is empty additional claims. I don't think I really want this, but there's a token type in there that, yeah, token response, core token response. So essentially what we were saying would be this. Except, hang on, So it's a client with all of that shit, except for the token response, which is malformed token response, and the token type, which we already know is a basic token type. Yeah. Takes 6, but 15 was supplied. So how did it get away with supplying 15 of them? Maybe we're using a different client. Use crate client. Yep, it's huge. Damn. All right, let's look at the from provider metadata. All right, it's reasonably complex. Library maintainers are amazing, man. Maybe one day. I wonder if I could fake it out by making a core client that just had one parameter difference. So this would be this client is from OpenID Connect. So if I use an OpenID Connect client instead of, yeah, instead of an OAuth2 client. Yep. So now the client is different. Hideously complex. Especially for half of the stuff that I won't use, but I wanted to see it working. Standard error response, core error response type. That should be okay. Malform token response, basic token type. Why can't you find the import for that? Maybe Rust Analyzer's just given up. Yeah, It's it's like there's nobody home anymore. Uh, okay, let's go core client for a sec. Core revocation error response. Actually, no, not there. I just want to see it defined. Where's it imported from? It isn't. Oh, this is my one. Okay. Ah, they've just renamed it. Standard revocable token. Well, that's not confusing at all. And I imagine, nope. Basic revocation error response. Oh, you guys are killing me. Yep, looks like I'm buying the prefab when I move on to worlds. I don't know what that means. Holy shit, the errors went away. So in theory, that should mean that I can use from provider metadata. Practice, it doesn't. Damn it, thought that was going to work. Gutted. The way the controller connects to Twitch is too much for me. Oh, okay. Damn. Okay. I am going to forward you folks to someone else because I have to go and finish dinner. So let's see who's floating around. This dude is making a game about a fruit bat. It's actually kind of cool. Thanks for the stream. Now I really don't know what I don't know. Fair enough. Stop by any time. I'll confuse the hell out of you. That didn't work. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, I know. Man, I'm getting tired. I mistook a exclamation point. There we go. That's better. Take it easy, folks. See you next time.